Imagine waking up hungry in a world with no farms, no bread, no rice fields, no grocery stores, no refrigerators, no restaurants, no delivery. Just land, water, plants, animals, weather, and whatever your group knows how to find. If you want food, you have to search for it, dig it, catch it, crack it, cook it, share it, or go without. So, what did ancient humans eat? The simple answer is almost anything edible they could safely get. But the real answer is much more interesting. Ancient humans did not have one universal diet. They ate differently depending on where they lived, what season it was, what tools they had, what animals were nearby, and what plants grew around them. A group living near the coast might eat shellfish, fish, seaweed, birds, eggs, and coastal plants. A group on open grassland might eat large animals, roots, seeds, berries, and insects. A group in forests might eat fruits, nuts, small animals, mushrooms, honey, and tubers. A group in cold regions might depend heavily on meat, fat, fish, and stored food. There was no single caveman menu. There were many ancient diets. The first major food source was plants. Before people became full-time farmers, they were expert gatherers. They knew which plants were safe, which were poisonous, which roots could be eaten raw, which needed cooking, which berries ripened after rain, which nuts could be stored, which seeds were worth collecting, which leaves were useful, which mushrooms were dangerous. This knowledge was life or death. A mistake could cause sickness or death. A correct choice could feed a family. Ancient humans ate fruits when they were available. Wild figs, berries, dates, plums, grapes, and many other fruits would have been valuable because they provided sugar, water, and energy. But fruit was seasonal. You could not always depend on it. So humans also relied on tougher foods. Roots and tubers were extremely important. These are underground storage organs of plants. They can be rich in carbohydrates. They are often easier to find than fast-moving animals. But many are hard, fibrous, bitter, or toxic if not prepared correctly. Cooking made a huge difference. A roasted tuber could become softer, safer, and more digestible. That mattered because carbohydrates provide steady energy. Seeds and grains also existed before farming. Ancient humans gathered wild grasses and seeds long before they planted crops. Collecting them took patience. You had to know when they were ready. You had to separate edible parts from husks. You might grind or pound them with stones. You might mix them with water. You might cook them into simple porridges or flat cakes later in prehistory. This was slow work, but it provided calories. Nuts were another valuable food. They were rich in fat and energy. Acorns, pistachios, almonds, walnuts, hazelnuts, and other wild nuts could be gathered, cracked, roasted, soaked, or stored. Some nuts needed special preparation to remove bitterness or toxins. Again, ancient eating was not just grabbing food, it was processing food. Human survival depended on knowledge and technique. Then there was meat. Meat was important, but not always easy to get. Early humans hunted animals, large and small. They ate antelope, deer, wild cattle, horses, pigs, rabbits, birds, reptiles, and many other animals, depending on region. In some places, they hunted huge animals like mammoths, bison, and giant deer. But hunting large animals was dangerous. A wounded animal could kill a hunter. A failed hunt could waste energy. So ancient humans also trapped, scavenged, and targeted easier prey. Small animals mattered. Birds, eggs, lizards, turtles, rodents, hares, frogs. These foods may not sound dramatic, but they were practical. You do not always need a mammoth. Sometimes survival is a nest of eggs, a trapped rabbit, or a turtle pulled from mud. Scavenging also played a role, especially earlier in human evolution. If a predator killed an animal and left bones or scraps, humans could use stone tools to cut meat or break bones for marrow. Marrow was extremely valuable. It is fatty, calorie-dense, and protected inside bone. A predator might eat the flesh and leave the bones. A human with a stone tool could crack them open. That was a major advantage. Fat was one of the most desired parts of the ancient diet. Today, many people think first about protein, but in survival conditions, fat is precious. It contains dense energy. It supports the body through cold, hunger, and long activity. Lean meat alone is not enough for long-term survival. Humans needed fat from marrow, organs, brains, fish, nuts, seeds, and fatty animals. Organs were also important. Liver, heart, kidneys, brain, and other organs contain nutrients that muscle meat alone may not provide. Ancient humans likely valued these parts deeply. Nothing useful was wasted. If a group killed an animal, they used meat, fat, organs, hide, bones, tendons, horns, and teeth. Fish and shellfish were also major foods for many groups. Rivers, lakes, and coasts provided fish, crabs, clams, mussels, oysters, snails, and other aquatic foods. Shellfish were especially useful because they could be gathered without chasing fast animals. They were predictable in some coastal areas. They provided protein and minerals. Fish could be speared, trapped, netted, caught by hand, or collected in shallow waters, depending on tools and environment. Coastal diets may have played an important role in human movement and survival. Water did not just provide drinking, it provided food. Insects were likely eaten too. This may sound strange to some modern audiences, but insects are a common human food in many cultures. Termites, grasshoppers, grubs, larvae, honey ants, and other insects can be rich in protein and fat. They are often easier to collect than large animals. After rains, insect swarms could provide sudden food. Early humans probably took advantage of this whenever possible. Honey was another prized food. Wild honey is energy-dense and sweet, but getting it was difficult and dangerous. Bees sting. Hives can be high in trees or hidden in rock crevices. Still, honey was worth the risk. It offered quick energy and may have been one of the most desired foods in the ancient world. A successful honey find could be a major event for a group. Then came cooking. Cooking changed everything about what humans could eat. Fire made meat softer. It made roots and tubers easier to digest. It reduced some parasites and microbes. It improved flavor. It helped unlock more energy from food. It allowed people to turn tough, bitter, or hard foods into something more useful. Cooking also created shared meals. A fire gathered people together. Food became social. A meal was not just feeding the body. It was sharing, bonding, teaching, and planning. Around food, humans built relationships. Ancient humans also preserved food when they could. Drying meat or fish in sun and smoke could make it last longer. Smoking could help preserve and flavor food. Nuts and seeds could be stored. Dried fruits could last beyond their season. In cold climates, freezing conditions could help preserve meat. Food storage was never perfect, but even small storage made survival easier. A group that saved food could survive a bad day, a storm, or a failed hunt. Seasonality shaped everything. In spring, there might be fresh greens, eggs, young animals, and new shoots. In summer, fruits, insects, fish, and active game. In autumn, nuts, seeds, roots, and fattened animals. In winter, stored food, hunted animals, fish, and whatever could be found under harsh conditions. Ancient humans had to think ahead. Eat now, but also prepare for later. Follow the herds. Return when the berries ripen. Dig roots after rain. Collect nuts before animals take them. Camp near fish runs. Move before water dries up. Their food knowledge was also map knowledge. Every edible thing had a place and a season. Different human groups developed different specialties. Arctic peoples later became experts in meat, fat, fish, and marine mammals. Desert groups learned hidden water and edible plants. Tropical groups used fruits, tubers, insects, and small animals. Coastal groups built diets around the sea. Grassland hunters tracked herds. Forest people read trees, mushrooms, nuts, and animal signs. This flexibility is one of humanity's greatest strengths. We are not built to eat only one thing. We are adaptable omnivores. That means humans can survive on many combinations of foods as long as they provide enough energy and nutrients. But ancient life was not a health trend. Nobody was choosing a diet for branding. They ate what kept them alive. Some days were abundant, other days were hungry. A feast after a successful hunt could be followed by days of searching. Children, pregnant women, injured people, and elders were especially vulnerable when food was scarce. Sharing mattered. Food sharing helped groups survive. A good hunter might fail tomorrow. A gatherer might find a rich patch today. A child depends on adults. An elder may know where food appears after rain. By sharing food, humans spread risk. This made the group stronger. Food was also part of learning. Children watched adults dig, cut, cook, smell, taste, and avoid certain foods. They learned which plants were medicine, which were poison, which animals were dangerous, which tracks meant dinner, which signs meant leave it alone. This knowledge took years to master. Ancient humans were not simply lucky foragers. They were experts in their environments. So what did ancient humans eat? They ate meat when they could get it, plants when they knew where to find them, fish and shellfish near water, eggs when nests were available, insects when they emerged, honey when they dared, roots, tubers, nuts, seeds, fruits, greens, mushrooms, marrow, organs, and cooked foods around the fire. They ate with their hands, with stones, with sticks, with shells, with bone tools. They ate by rivers, under trees, in caves, beside fires, on open plains, and along coasts. They ate what the land offered, and what their knowledge allowed them to use. The ancient human diet was not one perfect diet. It was a survival strategy, flexible, seasonal, local, hard-earned, and always tied to risk. A modern meal can arrive in minutes. For ancient humans, a meal might represent miles of walking, hours of tracking, careful digging, dangerous climbing, patient gathering, fire tending, and group cooperation. That is what makes their food story so powerful. Every meal was knowledge. Every bite was survival. And every shared fire reminded them of one simple truth. Humans did not survive because the world fed them easily. They survived because they learned how to find food where others saw only wilderness.